Alright, I've zoomed way in here so I can see what I'm doing. We need to add kind of like a shadow, a little bit of a shadow around this frog to make it look a little more realistic. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and see this little icon. It looks like a page with the corner turned up. That's a new layer. I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to put it down between the tongue, extra, and the actual tongue. Let's name this shadow. Practicing good Photoshop habits here. Okay, so it's a blank layer all by itself. Create a new layer right down here. Okay. I'm gonna use my brush tool and make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Make sure black is my foreground color. Make sure I'm on brush tool. Change my size up here. Let's try doing it straight soft light. Let's see what happens. That works pretty well. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. That may not be able to do what I want to do at all, actually. But the layer, because I have it underneath the frog, when I paint, whoops, when I paint, no, stop. It's actually going right down there below the frog. Make this a bit smaller, smaller still. So I can come in here and get right down here underneath his toes. That's bad. Control Z is your friend. Need to undo the last move you made. Control Z. History tool is also your friend. Okay, unlike Illustrator, you cannot do multiple back steps here. You can only do one back step with Control Z, so if you want to do multiple undos, you need to open your history palette and then figure out how far back you need to go. Alright. Now, still not what I want to do. There we go, soft light. See how that faded out? Let's set this back to normal. Okay, set that back to normal. Put that on soft light and see how that just kind of faded it all out. Barely see what I've done. I can come back in here, add in some more. Try to make it a little bit darker. Look at that. It just looks like I'm painting the shadow in there. Okay. And then I'm going to come here to the frog layer. I'm going to change that down to soft light as well. Whoops. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I need to make another layer above the frog layer. There we go. New layer. Call this shadow on the frog, just for fun. Okay. And I'm going to come right here and paint directly on the frog. Change that over to soft light. Gives that a little more roundness as well. Go down here and make my size a lot smaller. So that gives me a little more of a shadow on the frog. Okay, let's change my size down even smaller. Put a little bit on the toes. That's good. Alright, let's zoom out and see what it looks like. Yeah, that might be a little strong. Let's back up here. You know what we're going to do? We are going to zoom back in, Z tool. Just click on Z, zoom back in here. We're going to go back to our brush tool, increase our size back up, and we're just going to lower the opacity of this down to about 75%. Let's see how that looks. Put it on here. Change our mode to overlay, no, soft light. Let's lower the opacity a little more, just so it's not quite so strong. 50's not bad. Sometimes you have to play with things quite a bit to get them to really look good. It's part of the fun of Photoshop is having to like just play and play and play and redo and redo and redo. I know you guys hate that. You actually have to redo something and not just do it once and be done. Sometimes you have to come in here and really play with it to really get to do what you want to do. Okay, let's zoom out and see what that looks like. To zoom out is hold down the Z and hold down the Option key at the same time. That's still a little strong. But it's not really changing, that's why. Let's come over here and change this opacity. Over here in the brush palette, over in the layers palette, soft light, we're going to change this opacity down. There we go, that's helping. That's helping. I've got to set about 40%. Alright, so that, you can see that it's got a little bit of shadow there. It looks like a shadow cast on the face. It's not really, we know it's not. We know it's a brush line, but it looks like a shadow cast onto the face, and that's what's important. And so, by combining the image of a frog and then taking and copying part of the tongue, moving it up there and copying it down into the area of the outline of the frog, we made it look like appear like the tongue is turning into a frog and climbing out onto the face. Okay, so we're going to start playing a lot with this of taking different images from different sources and combining them together to create an image. Alright, so we're going to be doing something called Frankenpet, where we're going to take two different animals and combine them together to make a new hybrid animal. I've got lots of examples for you to look at. We're going to do several more video tutorials, but probably not till after the break tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Like I said, I've got to dig up all my different examples of them. I know I've got a Pinterest board full of them. We'll see what other kind of tutorials I can find. Okay, we might even be using somebody else's tutorials as extras just so you guys can have another option of looking at how it's done. Alright. Be sure to save this, turn this in.